You have one precious life. How will you make your money work for you? It's time for Sage Money Conversations, where your financial happiness and confidence are always the subject. Here's your host, certified financial planner, Barbara Norman.
Hello, and welcome to Sage Money Conversations. Today, we are blessed to have Melina Rissone. She is an associated real estate broker, and she specializes in divorces, which is a really unique area in real estate. And she helps people right-size their lives. And oh my gosh, is there a lot of that going on with COVID? People having babies, kids leaving the houses, parents right-sizing to a smaller place, minimalism, maximizing space. Melina.
It's an exciting world, isn't it? Yes. I help with all of that. Lots of exciting stories, specifically in the last 2 years.
So tell us a fun one. Tell us about somebody who's recently moved, because it's been challenging. So give us a good story here.
Absolutely. So there's lots of good stories. I just got off the phone with a family that moved to Israel over the weekend, actually. Wow. I helped them sell their property over the last 6 weeks or so. Another family I helped, they went to Jamaica, and they're going to be in Jamaica for at least a year. A lot of shifting I see for families uprooting to new areas. And so lots of really fun stories. One that stands out kind of the most to me was a woman that I supported making the plans to start a new lifestyle altogether. Wow. That was probably the funnest part.
Tell me about that one.
Yeah, so it was about in the springtime. I received a call from her, and I'd known her for a while. And she said, Melina, I think I'm ready. What do we need to do? So we got together, we looked at her house, we sat down at the dinner table, and we really laid out the different pieces, kind of like a puzzle, and how do we fit it all together? So looking at her space, and creating the vision of how to sell this property that she had been in for almost 30 years. She also had a divorce in that property some time ago. She ended up taking over the property and lived there for longer, for about 10 years or so. She had some roommates there. Her kids had grown up there. This property had a lot of stories for her. So it was quite interesting to view and for her specifically to work through these emotions that came up within her when she started to prep the place to sell. And so there was some work that I had recommended for her to do, just little enhancements here and there so that the property would sell at the highest price possible. So we invited in a renovation company. They changed the flooring, they helped us with paint, really basic things, but items that would really help stage and set the property up for a really great sales price. So that took some time. They created a plan, a budget, and at the same time, we also had a stager come in, and the stager worked together with the renovation company as well. And we made sure everything was in the budget that we had initially set. And so then it came time to execute. It took about 2-3 weeks. So it wasn't really all that long to execute on the plan to get the property ready. Meanwhile, my client had moved out of the property. We had determined that it might be best for her to be in a different space while all of this was undergoing the work, the renovation crew being in, the stager coming, bringing in the furniture and so forth. And so we felt this was best, and there was a great opportunity for her to stay with a friend. And while this was all happening at her place, we started to peek at opportunities for her to find her new space where she would be. And she had always shared for years, with me that for her next home, she envisioned a completely different lifestyle. She had lived in this home for, like I said, about 30 years in the suburbs of San Diego County. And she really wanted to live downtown. And we scouted out the different areas in downtown San Diego, such as Little Italy, East Village, the different buildings that one can find here. All of them come with different amenities. The micro neighborhoods in downtown are different, where, of course, in East Village, it's busy during the ballpark schedule. In Little Italy, it's busy on weekends when we have the farmers market. So we were really kind of trying out all these different community events as well. How would it be to live here? How is it actually going to impact me when there's a ball game? Would I like that? Would I not like that? How is parking going to be? So we really tried to envision how is it when I live here versus just visiting for a night on the town and a dinner. So this was very interesting. And so while her property was being prepped, we would start going out into this new neighborhood, experiencing. And I think that's what really carried her through some of the sadness also that comes up when one says goodbye to a property and a lifestyle that you have been in for a long time. So, and by going into these new neighborhoods, we were pretty quickly able to rule some of these areas out. Okay. And more so, we found clarity on how her next phase in life would look like and where that would be, what area and also building would enhance her in a way where she could really find herself.
So I'm curious, what made her heart sing? Like, what did she want in that home?
Yes. So she wanted a view, ideally. She wanted to have open space where she, and that's not always easy to find in the downtown area because, of course, it's urban and it's denser and more people living in a building. But she wanted to have a breeze, which that is nice to find in San Diego. And so ultimately, she wanted to have this experience where on a given weekend morning, she could walk out her building, get a coffee, walk around the block a little, see others kind of walk about with their dogs or chatting with neighbors, kind of this whole community feel of it. And so we had then decided, or she had decided for herself, that Little Italy might be a bit busy on the weekend. There's a lot of tourists, there's a lot of people from all over San Diego coming to enjoy the area, and it seemed a bit more busier for her. Then in East Village, when even though there's a lot of excitement for her with the ballpark, and she loved for her family to come over and stay with her, and then they would go to the ballpark. She loved that idea, but felt that at times it might also maybe be a little busy. And remember that she had lived in the suburbs for a long time. So finding kind of the in-between there was really exciting for her to explore. So we found a building in El Cortez, and that seemed to meet all of her criteria, where she is really still in walking distance to the ballpark and to Little Italy. It's just a few blocks really down the hill, but she was far enough up where she could retreat if she wanted to have a little bit of a quieter morning or afternoon. And she could still go out and get her coffee and walk around, enjoy the urban environment. And so as we kind of really pinpoint at this Cortez Hill neighborhood, we started to look at the condos that are available there. And also we started to write offers. Meanwhile, she was now ready to launch her property in the suburbs onto the market. And it wasn't on the market for very long. We had renovated it super nice. We staged it very beautifully. We priced it and marketed it to a point where we found buyers quickly, and we had a few offers within a weekend, I believe. So then she chose an offer. She was in escrow. Now we were ready to write a new offer on a property in Cortez Hill. That's how it all started.
Wow. So she's got this beautiful life. And I think you said that building she bought, didn't it have a memorable event in it?
It had a very memorable event in it. It was kind of coming home for her a little bit. She had her prom night so many years ago in this building. This building used to be a hotel. It was later then converted into condominiums. And just walking into the lobby, she immediately connected with this building. And it was definitely special. And she's in the process of moving now. I'm very curious to hear how this all will play out for her. And if she's, as a matter of fact, really finding here what she was looking for, which I believe she will, because we planned it out very carefully. And we really dug so deep into what was important to her in her new lifestyle, coming out of the suburbs and getting into this urban area of San Diego Metro and San Diego downtown. And I do believe that she will be very, very happy here. The property has a view for her, and the community is wonderful. Everything I've heard so far of the building, and also the encounters she had so far with her neighbors there, seem to just be a perfect match.
I love this. So it really was a very mindful transition, the whole thing. So if you had to give 3 steps for buying a house. And I love this because it's not like, yeah, just 3-bedroom, 2-bath, we're done, find it, good school district.
Yeah.
It's really, so if you had to give 3 steps for how do we create this new life, this new vision, like how do you start crafting? What are the steps here?
That is a very good question. So part of my consultation when I get together with new clients is to really dig deep on lifestyle. I'm a very visual person. Not everyone is, but for me, it really helps me to get a good understanding of what people do on weekends and their free time. How is work looking like, commutes, where are the different family members located in the county? And then once we get to the lifestyle part and what they do in their free time and how they envision their new community to look like, I matched that up with the financial aspects that we had gone through, the pre-approval that they already did. And I, at that point, already know how much is their monthly budget that's comfortable for them on a monthly basis. And so then I'm matching that criteria, all these different points, I'm matching them together. And I built a vision for myself where I see this family or this individual. And it was interesting. I had a client come in from Texas, actually this weekend. And she was not familiar with San Diego. All we knew was where her work is located. And she had picked an area simply from a map where she wanted to live. And then she shared her lifestyle. And I had such a hard time to imagine everything she shared about her lifestyle in that area, because it's a vastly different area. So I recommended an area to her that was probably 30 minutes south of where she originally thought she would move to. But I asked her, drive all areas, drive that area that you thought you would really love and like, and also drive the area recommended. And it turned out that the vision kind of where I saw her, kind of pictured her, she really liked that area better. So,
okay.
And
now
of course,
I'm curious.
she doesn't know, she came from out of state, but it was just so interesting. So that's what I do. I kind of create this vision for myself, and then I really guide the clients towards the steps. And of course, I only make recommendations. They're the ones that are driving the decision making. I just give the options that are available and point out the different choices they can make.
I love that. I love that. So it's really looking at, I love to entertain. I don't love to entertain. I've got kids. I want a yard. I don't want a yard. And
yes.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. The different needs within the house, the different features and benefits they're looking for. Some people need a place for their guests to stay in. A lot of times we need office spaces right now that are not a closet, for instance. We all work from closets in the past year. So
do you see that trend continuing of people living in, they're working from home?
So part of the pressure that we see in the San Diego housing market and the shortage that we're experiencing is from people that are coming from different parts of our state or also from out of state. San Diego is still very affordable, comparably speaking, and specifically compared to San Francisco, for instance. And we see a lot of people from the Bay Area come to San Diego because they can now work remotely. And if they want to keep the Southern California or the California lifestyle, it's so much cheaper for them to live in San Diego. So we do see a lot of people transfer to San Diego right now.
Boy, that's tough. They bring all their equity down and drive ours up.
That's exactly a part of this. That is part of what we're noticing in San Diego and in the housing market.
Do you think that they're pricing a lot of San Diegans out of the market?
We do see some of that. Yes. I mean, there's certainly a lot of pressure on Southern California real estate prices, and there's different variables as to why that is, but certainly demand is extremely strong. And so when we have cash buyers or buyers that are used to different home prices come to San Diego and bid properties up, and it's still so much cheaper for them than if they would have stayed where they were in San Francisco, to give an example. Yes, unfortunately, we do see sometimes that people that have stayed in San Diego for a long time and earn wages according to our employment market here, we do see them outpriced at times. Yeah.
Boy, I think right now, I mean, difficult as it is, just hearing you talking about that influx, I don't think that's going to slow down. And so interest rates, what they are, boy, I'd have to think that right now, even if you think you can't afford it, probably try. In fact, we had an experience with a couple together, and they didn't think they could buy a house. And yet when they sat down and put the numbers together and put the vision together, God, lo and behold, now they're in a house. And so I would say probably that next step would be persistent for people. Really don't give up. If you have this dream, keep working at it.
Yes. I could not agree more, Barbara. You're absolutely right. So we have seen a lot of people come into the market in the springtime, and then we noticed that it got a little slower in the summer. And the reason for that, I believe, was people were kind of, getting back to work. Kids are back in school. The pandemic was, kind of phasing out a little, at least around June. We were opening everything back up again. So people started to get really busy. And some buyers in the marketplace were getting fatigued, writing so many offers and another offer and another offer and bidding up and not having an inspection contingency or an appraisal contingency. So we saw some people that were placing their home goals on hold for a bit. We do see those returning. The intensity of the market is here to stay, as far as I hear, for another 12 months or so. That is the forecast that we hear from the National Association of Realtors and also the California Association of Realtors economists.
That's kind of what I'm hearing too on my end from the economists is once they start raising interest rates, this housing thing is going to start to calm down a bit.
That is a high possibility. Yes, I do believe so. However, interest rates, I do not believe they're forecasted to go much higher up until the end of the year, maybe, or in the first quarter of next year. So I believe that the current market scenario, at least that's what the forecast is, I believe the current market scenario will stay for a bit.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So get your vision, right?
Yes, definitely have a vision. Always.
Visit the neighborhoods. Don't just buy, and then be persistent. I love this.
Yes. And always the vision, hold up the vision, and the vision will come true.
So, Melina, you are always so positive, so wonderful. For our listeners, Melina has this wonderful video log, and she does really fun little tips for all kinds of things. And so if you have a chance, plug into Melina because she's really creative, fun, got lots of ideas. And oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, so strong, so smart. Melina, what makes you happy? What just gives you so much joy?
Thank you so much, Barbara. How sweet of you to say. I very much appreciate it. And thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you this morning.
You're welcome. So what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Well, I am taking a lot of energy out of nature. I really love being outdoors. I love camping. I love hiking. I like to be still in nature. And I love doing that with my family and my dog. Definitely camping, being with family and friends gives me a lot of energy. And and other than that, I'm just grateful for everything that we have in this beautiful country, this beautiful sun that shines on us every day and gives us more energy. It's the simple things, really. That's the short answer.
It is the simple things, but really living life with joy.
Exactly. And health.
And health. It does. Yes. It takes a conscientious effort. And here you are doing it in homes and in nature and for your life and your family. And wow, Melina, I can't thank you enough for this time. It's been really fun. It's been informative, great stories. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara. See you soon.